going around them. Perfectly round spheres, yes? Balls, they're going around. And they're going around this thing, and they're in orbits, turning, everything's turning, moving. Like somebody, excellent choreography. Are they exploding? Blowing up? Or are they all working together? For what? Not just hours or days, centuries, millenniums, billions of years. This is what we're being told by scientists. How do you want me to believe that all of this came from an explosion? I don't know. But let's put that aside and let's take a microscope and look under the microscope, and what are we going to see? Same thing again. Molecules, round orbs, globes, surrounded by more of the smaller ones. And then atoms, which are, again, round circular globes with 3 separate globes going around them. Neutrons, electrons, and so on. We see it. I see it under the microscope. I see it in the telescope. Okay, leave that alone. Let's look at the Earth itself. It happens to be round. Okay. And it's covered with water. And there's air to breathe. So far, we haven't found another planet anywhere that has air that we can breathe. There's some debate about maybe finding dried water on Mars. I'm not exactly sure what dried water is. I don't know where to go with that one, but that's what we got back from that little truck thing that we sent up to Mars. What I'm saying is, if you're seeing something that is organized, and has been organized long before there were people, and it's a beautiful construction, how do you say it's by chance? How? And what is the source of this science tell us about human beings? How did we get here? How did we get here? Well, they tell us the Earth was covered with water. The only planet in the entire universe covered with water. Okay. And then, after a long time, this blue-green algae showed up. Where did it come from? Well, you know, after millions and millions of years, it would show up. Really? I got some water right here. I wonder how many million years before this would turn blue-green and have algae in it. Well, we won't live long enough to find that out, but let's ask another question. So then what happened? Well, then the amoeboid came along and started eating the algae. Where did amoeboids come from? Well, they actually were in the algae and then they came out of it. How did they get in there? Well, they're part of the formation. You have to understand evolution. So they evolved out of what they're eating. Doesn't that make them cannibals? I'm just asking. And then those amoeboids turned into something that precursor to fish. Okay? Now, the fish were jumping out of the water, so much, trying to get these bugs flying over. Where did the bugs come from? Never mind that. So they're jumping out of the water so much, and that their fins became wings after millions of years. By the way, I saw these pictures in a science book. These drawings showing us how it all evolved. And then some of these things crawled on the land to get, some of the bugs and things that live on the land, worms and things. Where did those come from? Never mind. So we've got a lot of never mind in here that's, I've lost the common sense of the story. I understand what we're looking at. And it's an amazing thing what you're saying, but I don't get the story because you're not giving me anything that connects. Jump forward. Now let's go up to, because of time, I've got to go to this conclusion. Evolution. I was surprised one time in one of the universities I visited overseas. to ask the question from the audience, how many believe in evolution? And this is all Muslims. And I was surprised how many hands went up. I said, really? But in fact, we do have in Islam a form of evolution. Not what the guys are telling us that we came from monkeys. A 5-year-old girl at the zoo with her daddy is looking at that picture. You know the famous picture shows the marmoset that turns into a squirrel monkey turns into the bigger capuchin monkey, and he's turning into some kind of a baboon, and baboon turns into an ape, and the ape's turning into, you've seen it, everybody's seen the picture, right? Huh? Then eventually it's a naked guy with a briefcase or something, right? Is it? The little girl at the zoo, she sits at her daddy, she says, Daddy, what is that? He said, it's evolution. We evolved from monkeys. She said, Daddy, if we evolved from monkeys, how come we still got monkeys? Good question. If we evolved from something, how come it's still there? Now they come up with something. All right? I'm not the first one to say that, by the way. So these guys come up with a new thing. No. You misunderstood. Common ancestor. Well, actually, in Islam, we know about a common ancestor. It tells us that Allah turned some people into pigs and apes. It does say that. So if you want to believe that common ancestor, yes, that might be possible. Scholars tell me no, that all of those died that were, from that. But in any case, if you think you have a common ancestor with a monkey, it might be. But for sure, there's something that's a lot closer to you than a monkey. Do we have any medical students or doctors in the audience? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. In medicine, just ask you a question. Maybe some of you know. In medicine, if you get burned really bad, you go to the hospital, and they say, we're going to have to replace the skin here on your arm. They'll take some from your leg. Is that right? Yeah, they'll take some from your leg and put it on there. But what if you don't have enough? So they will take an animal and they'll take his skin and give it to you. Did you know that? What animal? They don't go to the zoo and grab a monkey or an ape. They go to the barn and grab a pig. Did you know that? They have to. They need enough skin, they'll do that. Now, if you go into the hospital and you have a heart problem, you need a heart valve. Again, no trip to the zoo, back to the barn, grab another pig, and pull the heart valve out of the pig and stick it in the human being. And it works. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. Common sense tells you what? Definitely you're a lot closer to the pig than you are to the monkey. Simple as that. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Think about it. And if you said, well, there's no way we're related to pigs. Okay, I agree with that too. I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is that you're trying to give me these stories that don't make any sense. If everything came about by some stroke of God in the beginning, I accept that. If you're saying that something blew up, where did it come from? What blew up? And then where did that come from? Come on, think what you're saying. Somewhere, somehow, something or someone had to bring it together to make it do what it does. And that's called a God. Simple as that. Let's start with that. There is a God. Otherwise, none of it makes sense. All right. Now, we got that out of the way. I should clarify one thing. I mentioned something about evolution. Islam is the only religion that gives you proof of a type of evolution. A type. But it's within a species, not from species to another species. It stays in there. So human beings were all human beings, but they used to be a lot bigger. Yes or no? Adam himself was what? How big? Pretty big? How about 60 cubits, which translates to bigger than a water tower? That's what we know. And Islam is teaching that people over centuries became smaller and smaller and smaller. This is a form of evolution. The one who created us, in Arabic, he's called Al-Khaliq. He's also called Al-Bari, the evolver. The creator and the evolver. Those are two of the characteristics of the 99 names of Allah, yes or no? So thank you. We do believe in a form of evolution because we can prove it. It's in Islam. This now sets the tone for having a proper discussion about God. Once we've agreed on these things, now let's talk about if there's a God, in which we have established there really is, does he have partners? If he has partners, what would happen? They would fight. They would compete. Yes or no? They would compete. Hey, I made a universe bigger than yours. Well, first of all, una means one. So it wouldn't be a universe anymore, would it? SubhanAllah. There's so much, when you start thinking about it, the Quran is making sense. But now, let's come to this. Most of the people on the planet, over half of the people on the planet, do believe in a God. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want it to reduce down for less than half, or down to a small number. Because if you believe in God, we're already on the same page. Most of the people on the planet today that believe in God would accept the things I've said so far. They would. Because it's not anything against common sense. It's definitely against uncommon science. But real science is found in Islam as well. I don't want to go into that in depth, but we can now set the groundwork to have a discussion with somebody and say, if there's God, he has to be one. And the bottom line on this is, after you establish the Tawheed, what is the relationship you want with the one who created you? You want to tell him what to do, or are you going to let him tell you what to do? Bottom line. Simple as that. As soon as you say, I want him to tell me, then I'm going to tell you what. You don't need to talk to me anymore. You're done talking to me. Go talk to the God you believe in. In your own heart, just say these words. God, guide me. And you'll be fine. End of story. It's as simple as that. Now, a lot of times when we've had this kind of a discussion up to this point, people have questions. And I want to share with you something that I think is very important, is follow-up. There's no way that we'd be able to answer all these questions tonight. We do have a program after the broadcast that we want everybody here to participate in, and then we'll have question and answers after that. But for all of our audience that's watching around the world right now, I'd like to tell them how they can get more information. And then, after that, you can ask us questions. But please get some basic information. What we did was to propose a lot of questions on many topics. 10 of the biggest topics that we have, and we put it all together under one website. It's actually a series of our websites, but you only have to know one to get to it. It's called SHARE, S-H-A-R-E-I-S-L-A-M, Share Islam, shareislam.com. Simple. If you have your phone with you, pull it out. Check it out. ShareIslam.com. On a phone, you move your finger upward. On a computer, use your mouse and make it scroll right and left. That's how it works. But on the phone, just go up and down. You'll find that there are 10 portals taking you to these different subjects, and each one of them we put questions, and then you click the question, you get the answer. Make it easy for you. First one and foremost is, what is Islam? And there's a whole lot about it. The second one is, God Allah. Is God the same one we call Allah, and is Allah the God of the Bible? And one of the proofs is, we show you a Bible in Arabic language. 17 times God is mentioned in English, and 17 times in Arabic, Allah. It's the exact same place. And they even give an example in all of the Bibles you find in the hotels and motels. That one, when you open it up, it shows you translations in the different languages. It shows you the Arabic translation of what? John 3:16. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. That one right there, it says Allah. Allah. Simple as that. But moving to the next one. Allah's Quran. Then Prophet of Islam. Then Islam's women. And each one of these is a full, entire website loaded with stuff. Videos, audios, articles, proofs from science, from doctors, from many people. Especially in the one about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you'll find that we covered from people who knew him and were not Muslim. Knew him and they were enemies. Those that were his companions, those who were married to him, and so on. What did they say? We had a whole montage of that. And then at the end we say, well, now that you heard all of this, what do you say? And you have to agree. If you accept anything from that page, you have to agree that the media is doing a very big disservice to Islam, Allah, the Quran, and especially to Muhammad. Really. So then we have others. We have jihad. Yes, it's called About Jihad. And when you see what real scholars in the English language have written about this word, what it means and what it implies, you'd be so surprised to say, oh, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have this opinion about Muslims. Then another one that we have is science, the science of Islam. It's called Science Islam. Then Bible, Quran. If you check this one out, you have to be convinced that what the Bible used to say only makes sense when you understand what the Quran is saying. And it comes together. It's the same God, the same message. Worship God without any partners. Obey God's commandments. Be a good person. Don't hurt people. And then wait for the day of judgment and see what Allah will accept. Simple as that. Simple as that. It goes on. It has a chat connection for you. And also, it has, at the end, question and answers. You can ask your question, or you can type in things and it'll pop up questions from some of the big shuyukh, the teachers of Islam, like Abdulaziz bin Baz, rahimahullah, Muhammad Nasruddin al-Albani, rahimahullah, and so many more. They're there, and they're translated in English. I encourage Muslims to read it, check it out, and share it with other Muslims and non-Muslims. And for the one who's attacking Islam, and he hates Islam, he hates Muslims, he's not going to go with anything you're saying, all right, just tell him, you know what, there's a guy from Texas. A guy from Texas, he made a website, and he calls it Expose Islam. Go check it out. I'm from Texas. And by the way, it's the same website. Exact same website. Expose Islam, Share Islam is the same one. So do that, enjoy it, and we're going to run this right now. I'm going to turn it back over to our broadcast, and for the locals that are here with us right now, we have a continuation. We're going to have the Mercy Without Limits is going to be talking to us about some of the orphans and how we can help make a difference. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided with Guidance TV. All right, now this is on a pre-recorded thing that's broadcasted, and I don't think it has any sound to it, so I'm going to have to call my guy. But we're going to turn it over to Muhammad Hassan now, and he's going to tell us about Mercy Without Limits. Inshallah.
أحمد الله حمد عباده الذاكرين الشاكرين وأصلي وسلم على خير المرسلين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه التابعين وتابعين التابعين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعل تجمعنا هذا تجمعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا أو غائب عنا شقيا أو محروما. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله ما شاء الله. This is positive, yes. This is Martin, Allahu Akbar. Inshallah, after I finish my 10 minutes exactly presentation, inshallah, we're going to go back to Sheikh Yusuf for question and answers. The brothers will be distributing cards and pens. Inshallah, if you have a question, just write it down, give it back to the brother, and he will bring it to us, inshallah. My name is Muhammad Hassan. I work for an organization called Mercy Without Limits, Ar-Rahma Bila Hudud. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, this organization